Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah here. We are picking up today in the Mishnah Berurah Chelik Hey. We're on Pei Zayin Amid Beis. We had begun Siman Taf Ayin Zayin yesterday. Of course, we're holding in the middle of Hilchos Pesach, and we started Siman Taf Ayin Zayin. We are on the bottom line of Pei Zayin Amid Beis, in the words of the Shulchan Aruch, in the middle of Sif Aleph, right by the Ois Katan Vav for the Mishnah Berurah. So the Shulchan Aruch says over here, "V'yehei zahir," you should be careful. La'achloi kaidam chatzos. We have been discussing the eating of the afikomen. Says the Mechaber, you have to be careful to eat the afikomen before chatzos, before halachic midnight. Says the Mishnah Berurah, in Ois Katan Vav, near the bottom of Pei Zayin Amud Beis, says the Mishnah Berurah, you should be careful. Since, according to one opinion, the afikomen is a zecher, it's a remembrance for the eating of the carbon pesach. You're required to eat the afikomen during a time when you would be allowed to eat the carbon pesach. And the carbon pesach must be eaten before chatzos. The chol shekain kazayis harishon shemavarchin alav alachilas matzah shetzarch lizar ma'oid shaloi la'achroi ad achar chatzos. The Chavetz Chaim points out something here. In this siman, we're discussing the eating of the afikomen, and the Mechaber said that we have to eat the afikomen before chatzos. Says the Chavetz Chaim, kol shekain, certainly the first kazayis of matzah that you eat by moitzi matzah to be mekayim the mitzvah of achilas matzah, that certainly has to be eaten before chatzos. And we're going to go read a bir halacha and see why in a moment. First, the Chavetz Chaim continues, and he says, "Ubediyeved, b'diyeved im echar, if you delayed eating the moitzi matzah, mistapkim harishayim im yotza yedei chayvasai, the rishayim are mesupik whether or not you fulfilled your obligation. V'alkein yechlenu, so you should eat again. V'lo yivarech alav al achilas matzah." And I'm sorry, if it's late and you did not eat the moitzi matzah, and now you're going to go ahead and you're ready to eat the matzah after chatzos, yechlenu, you should eat it, but v'lo yivarech alav al achilas matzah. However, you should not make the bracha of al achilas matzah, because we have a doubt whether or not you're really going to be yotze the mitzvah. The gam marar, and the marar as well. Even though nowadays when we don't have a carbon pesach, the mitzvah of achilas mar is only a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. Yizar la'achlai kaidem chatzos. You should also take care to eat the marar before chatzos, because the marar was also eaten at the time of the carbon pesach. And if you delayed in eating the marar until after chatzos, you should eat it without making a bracha. Now I want to direct your attention back to Pei Zayin Amid Beis, to the bir halacha dibur hamaschil v'yehei zahir. Excuse me. And the Chavetz Chaim in this bir halacha is going to discuss why it's important that the moitzi matzah should be eaten before chatzos. So he says, "Ayin Mishnah Berurah, look in the Mishnah Berurah, Masha Kasamnu, you'll see what we wrote, Shetzarach lizar ma'oid, that you have to be very careful to eat the moitzi matzah before chatzos. Why is this? Kiba Gemara, because in the section of Pesachim on Kuf Chaf Amud Beis, Isa, it's brought down, Deladas Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, according to the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, the Pesach min haTorah einoi nechal ela ad chatzos. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah holds that mid'araisa, the carbon Pesach must be eaten before chatzos. In that case, hu hadin matzah de iskish lePesach. Then the same halacha would be true of the matzah, because the Torah Kedosha compares the matzah to the carbon pesach. They're written together in the pasuk, and that juxtaposition of the matzah, the carbon pesach, it compares one to the other in terms of halacha. So according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who holds that the carbon pesach must be eaten before chatzos, and that's a din daraisa, then the matzah also must be eaten before chatzos. However, that's only the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Akiva Poligalav, Rabbi Akiva argues with Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. The Savar and Rabbi Akiva holds that Pesach Zman Achilasei Hu Kol Halayla, that midaraisa the carbon Pesach really could be eaten all night, even after chatzos. Umemela, and therefore it would come out who hadin matzahs mana min haTorah who kol halayla, that midaraisa the achilas matzah could also be the whole night. So here we have this machlokes Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and Rabbi Akiva. According to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, both the carbon pesach and the matzah must be eaten before chatzos. According to Rabbi Akiva, both the carbon pesach and the matzah midaraisa could be eaten even after chatzos. Now, v'yesh plukta bein rishonim, we have a machlokes in the rishonim. In halacha ke Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, do we paskin in this machlokes like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah? Mishum deyesh harbe stame mishnah kavosei, because we have a lot of mishnahs that are written without. Boy, I hate when the English word falls off my tongue. We have a lot of mishnahs that are stam. It means that the opinions related in those mishnayos are not said to be of a specific person. They're anonymous. And a stam mishnah, a lot of stam mishnayos are like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. And we know that when Rebbe put down the mishnah, when he put an opinion as a stam and he didn't put a name to it, we usually paskin like a stam mishnah. So if a lot of stame mishnayos are like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, so that's a reason to paskin like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Oy ke Rabbi Akiva, or perhaps we paskin like Rabbi Akiva, mishum da halacha ke Rabbi Akiva mechaveroi, because we have a rule that when Rabbi Akiva argues on one other individual, usually the halacha follows Rabbi Akiva mechaveroi. So that here we have a machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and one individual. It's not a machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and the Chachamim. It's not Rabbi Akiva against a group. It's Rabbi Akiva against one individual. So usually the rule is halacha ke Rabbi Akiva mechaveroi. We would paskin like Rabbi Akiva. So here we have a machlokes rishonim. Do we paskin like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and the carbon pesach and the matzah are allowed must be eaten before chatzos? Or do we paskin like Rabbi Akiva that the carbon pesach and the matzah could be eaten even after chatzos? V'das harambam v'harav hamagid u'balo iter v'arzarua b'shem arimi korvil livsoik d'zman achilas matzah kol halayla. These rishonim paskin like Rabbi Akiva that the carbon that achilas matzah could be the whole night. The Yeshar remember the gam das harif came. Some people say that the Rif also paskin like Rabbi Akiva. Midehishmit memra de Rava the Amar da achilas matzah lechatzos liyotzi yidechavase l'Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Okay, however, while we have this list of rishonim that paskin like Rabbi Akiva, yesh harbe migdali rishonim d'sfira l'u d'lacha chatzos liyotzi yidechavase. We have many rishonim that say like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah that if you eat the matzah after chatzos, you're not yotza. The Heimar ben Chananel beperk aviv sachim ba'asmag b'shem ariba al taisvis v'chein b'zvachim kasu shama taisis came v'chein b'megillah chafalaf levad b'psachim kuf chafam nebeis mistap kama taisis v'amar l'chai b'sayf psachim rabbein yeruchim b'nesivhei kelik dalad v'chein tzadid ar zerua gam kein ayin sham d'lo yotzim in ater v'harikeach v'arash v'arashba v'aran mistap kama zeh. The kasu in these rishonim route al kein yesh lizar shalala acher yosem chatzos. So we should be careful not to eat the mitzi matzah after chatzos. The yesh mei rishonim shekasu, there are those rishonim that say ta'afilu Rabbi Akiva who rak linyan daraisa. Even Rabbi Akiva who says that you could eat the matzah after chatzos, that's only midaraisa. That's the din Torah. Ava mishum harchaka moida da'asa lechatchila la'acher yosem chatzos. But even Rabbi Akiva agrees that midrabanan we're supposed to eat the matzah before chatzos, because we're afraid if you're going to push it off until later, you might end up pushing it off longer and longer and longer, and you'll push it off the whole night, and eventually you'll forget to eat it, and you won't be mekayim the mitzvah at all. So while it's true that Rabbi Akiva holds that midaraisa, you can eat the matzah after chatzos, certainly midrabanan he would be masking that it should be eaten before chatzos. The chen kasav hagra b'Berurah. V'hinei mishum zeh, because of all of this, echlitu harbe achrayim, many achrayim agree. Even though certainly you're obligated to eat matzah, even if you delayed it until after chatzos, because the halacha might very well be like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and like Rabbi Akiva that it could be eaten the whole night. Still in all, you must eat it, but you cannot make the bracha of alachilas matzah the suffix brachas lahakil. Because the rule of thumb always is that when we have a suffix, whether or not you should make a bracha, we go lekula, which means do not make the bracha. So here we have this machlokes. So we have the Shulchan Aruch who tells us that you must eat the afikomen before chatzos, and we have the Chavetz Chaim here in the Mishnah Berurah who tells us that you have to be careful also to eat the mitzi matzah before chatzos and the marar before chatzos. Now continues the Mishnah Berurah on the 5th line down. Let's say you did not start your Seder until very, very late. And now you didn't even start saying the Haggadah, and it's almost Chatzos. What are you going to do? You're up against the clock. Says the Chavetz Chaim, Yekadesh, you should make Kiddush. So we're talking about you didn't even start the Seder, you didn't even make Kiddush yet, and you're pushing Chatzos. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Yekadesh, you should make Kiddush. V'yishteh kais rishon, and you should drink the first one of the dalat kaisos, the kais of Kiddush. V'yital yadav, and then immediately you should skip to rachza, and you should go wash. V'yavarech ha'maitzi v'alachilas matzah, and you should skip to maitzi matzah, make the brachas of ha'maitzi and achilas matzah, v'yochal, and eat your matzah. V'gam yavarech al ha'marar tekif kaidu chatzos, and then eat the marar right away before chatzos. V'achakach yomer haggadah, and then you should sit down and say the Haggadah. V'achakach yitzay sudasai, and then make your suda. So the Mishnah Berurah is paskening over here that if you're at risk of not eating the mitzi matzah before chatzos, skip the Haggadah. Skip right away. Go straight from Kiddush to rachza and then to mitzi matzah, and make sure that you wash and you eat your matzah and you eat your maror right away before chatzos. Now, we have over here in the Dirshu footnote number 10, let me shut off the noisemaker over here. Okay. In footnote number 10, we have over here something that probably a lot of people are familiar with, and that is the Tanai of the Avnei Nezer. A lot of us come up against this problem where the Seder, Tanai Nahara, people have kindlach sitting around the table, and they all want to ask questions, and they all want to say over the Divrei Torah, and the Seder starts late as it is, and we're all up against the clock, going up against Chatzos. So many people employ it colloquially, everybody knows it as the Tanai. It's the Tanai, the condition of the Avnei Nezer. What exactly is the Tanai of the Avnei Nezer? So let's take a look here in Dirshu footnote number 10. If you see at the outset of the Suda by the Seder, or in the middle of the Suda, Shezman Chatzos Karav, you look at the clock and you see it's getting late, Chatzos is getting close. Kasav v'Shailus Teshuvas Avnei Nezer, the Avnei Nezer writes in his Shailus and Teshuvas, Sheyochal Kezayis Matzah, that right away in the middle of the Suda you should eat a Kezayis of Matzah, the Yisneh, and you should make the following tonight. You should make the following condition. She'im halacha keRebbi Akiva, if the halacha follows Rebbi Akiva. Shezman achilas haPesach hu ad Elois haShachar, who holds that the Karban Pesach midaraisa is allowed to be eaten the whole night until dawn, and therefore the matzah and the afikomen could also be eaten the entire night. Then einoi miskaven lechol kezayis zeh l'shem afikomen. Then the kezayis of matzah that I am now going to eat in the middle of the Suda should not be the afikomen. It should just be matzah that I'm eating as part of my Suda. However, the im halacha keRebbi Elazar ben Azariah, but if the halacha follows Rebbi Elazar ben Azariah, shezman achilas haPesach hu ad chatzos, who holds that the Karban Pesach and therefore the matzah and the afikomen must be eaten before chatzos, then harei oichel kezayis zeh l'shem afikomen. Then I am eating this kezayis of matzah now in middle of Shulchan Aruch. I am eating it l'shem afikomen. It should be the afikomen. Okay, so what did you just do? You're in the middle of Shulchan Aruch. You look up at your clock and you realize it's almost chatzos. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to make the afikomen before chatzos. So right away you take a kezayis of matzah. You eat a kezayis of matzah in the middle of Shulchan Aruch, and you make this tonight. You say, if the halakha is like Rabbi Akiva, so this is just matzah that I'm eating as part of my Suda. But if the halakha is like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and therefore I have to eat the afikomen before chatzos, then I'm eating this kezayis of matzah to be the afikomen. All right. So then that means that according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, you just ate the afikomen. Now wait a second. If you just ate the afikomen, we know ein maftir nachar pesach afikomen. You're not allowed to eat anything else after the afikomen. And you're in the middle of Shulchan Aruch, so what do you do now? So continues the Avnei Nezer. Let's look back in the footnote. V'yamtin ad la'achar chatzos. Now wait until after chatzos. V'az yamshich sudasai. And now you could continue your suda. Why? Kevan shala'achar soif zman achilas pesach. Because once you're already out of the zman of the achilas pesach, once you're after chatzos, and according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, now you're already beyond the time period that's allowable for the eating of the Karban Pesach. Ain't sarich sheyishar befiv tam afikomen. Now you don't need the taste of the afikomen to remain in your mouth. The Avnei Nezer says that the whole reason you need the tam of the afikomen to remain in your mouth, how long do you need it to remain in your mouth? You could get up the next morning and you're allowed to eat. So the point of having the tam of the afikomen remaining in your mouth is that only applies during the zman of the Karban Pesach. And according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, the zman of the Karban Pesach is over at chatzos. And that's why you just ate a kizayis of matzah in the middle of your Shulchan Aruch l'shem afikomen, because you're being chayshish for the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So fine. So you ate your afikomen before chatzos to cover Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Now you can't eat anything else because ein maftir nachar pesach afikomen until chatzos. So you wait a little bit until chatzos, and then you can continue eating your Shulchan Aruch. And then when you finish your meal and you finish Shulchan Aruch, eat another kizayis of matzah l'shem afikomen. And now you'll be yotza according to Rabbi Akiva. So this is the famous Tanai of the Avnei Nezer. So the next time somebody comes up to you after the Seder and you're talking about what time did you finish your Seder, and you ask somebody, did you eat the afikomen before chatzos? And the guy says, nah, I didn't make it before chatzos. I used the Tanai. Well, now you'll know what the Tanai is. But a lot of people don't realize this caveat to the Tanai, which is that if you're going to employ the Tanai, you have to stop eating until after chatzos, because ein maftir nachar pesach afikomen. Now we go to the top line of the Shulchan Aruch on Pei Ches Amud Aleph, where the Ramah says, the Ramah says that the Kriya of Hallel, let's remember we have you did Shulchan Aruch, you did Barech, you did Shulchan Aruch, and now you ate the afikomen. Boy, why is it the Siman falling out of my head? Kadesh Orchas Karpas Yachatz, Magid Rachza Maitzi Matzav Mar Karish Shulchan Aruch. And then you had boy, what's the matter with me? All right, but you need Hallel. So after the afikomen, you always have Hallel. So you ate the afikomen, now you need Hallel. Says the Ramah that the Hallel should also be before chatzos. Says the Mishnah Berurah Zayin Shekama Hallel Ritzonei Loymar. In Berchasai Shemevarech la'achareha yomer lechatchila kainem chatzos. In the Haggadah, after we bench, right? Barech, and after benching we have Hallel. So we say Hallel and we make the bracha at the end of Hallel. Yehalelucha Hashem kol maasecha, and we make the bracha after Hallel. Says the Mishnah Berurah that the Hallel and the bracha at the end of the Hallel should all be completed before chatzos. Why is this? Because why are we saying Hallel now? We're saying Hallel because they used to sing Hallel by the Achila of the Karban Pesach. They sang Hallel. So the same way the matzah and the maror and the afikomen are all linked to the Achila of the Karban Pesach, the Hallel is also linked to the Achila of the Karban Pesach. So again, the same way the Karban Pesach has to be eaten before chatzos, the Ramah is telling you that Hallel should also be completed lechatchila before chatzos. Now we go to Seif Beis. Oh, interesting case. Let's say you forgot to eat the afikomen. All right, when did you remember? And you don't remember until you washed mayim achronim, or until you said Havlan unavarich, bring us the tilas yadayim, bring us a kais, and let's go bench. So what do you do now? Oichel afikaimen, you eat the afikaimen right now, beloy birkas hamaitzi, without making a bracha of hamaitzi. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah over here, Ois Katan Ches. Beloy birkas hamaitzi, without making hamaitzi. What's the novelty over here? Well, in this case, the Mechaber said, what did you do? You forgot to eat the afikaimen, so you finished Shulchan Aruch, you ate your dessert, you sang Shir Amalos, you brought out the Mayim Achrayim, and you said, okay, let's bench. Oy we didn't eat the afikaimen. Well, says the Mishnah Berurah, the after the Siman Kuf Ayin Tes, even though we saw previously in Hilchas Perkes Hamazon and Kuf Ayin Tes If Aleph, Yesh Oimrim, that there are those that say, Dem Amar Havlanu Navarich, once you say, bring us a kais and let us bench, heavy hesach hadas, that is equal to a hesach hadas. That means that you removed your mind from eating anymore. You finished eating and you said, okay, let's bench. That means that mentally you finished your suda. And now if you want to eat something, you need a new bracha. You're not in the middle of your suda anymore. As long as you washed and you made a maitzi and you were in the middle of your suda, so as long as you were eating dvarim abayim machmas suda, as long as you were eating foods that are part of the suda, you don't have to make a bracha rishayna because you're in the middle of your suda. But once you say havlanu navarech, once you say bring us a kais and let's bench, now you mentally ended your suda. If you want to eat something now, you need a new bracha rishayna. So how come over here the Mechaber says you forgot to eat your afikaimen, you washed mayim achrayim, you said havlanu navarech, and yet says the Mechaber, eat your afikaimen without a hamaitzi. Explains the Chavetz Chaim, hacha, in this case, ataka derachmana samchinan. We rely on the table. Ataka is a table. Ataka derachmana samchinan. We rely on the Rabbeinu Shalom's table. What does that mean? They ain't tali b'daita, because over here the eating of the afikaimen is not up to your das. It's not up to you. You do not have the ability to be mesiach das from your suda before you ate the afikaimen. Because what do you mean? What are we doing tonight? We're not just eating a regular meal. We're fulfilling all of the halachas of the Seder. We're being mekayim ratzon habayre. We're doing what the Rabbeinu Shalom wants. This is the Rabbeinu Shalom's suda. He is the balabas, not you. You're not the balabas by the Seder table. It's ataka de rachmana. It's the Rabbeinu Shalom's table. And the Berurah Shalom says that you have to eat the afikaimen. So what does it mean that you were Mesiach Das? It's not up to you to be Mesiach Das. It's not your table. So your mind slipped. You forgot. And you went and you washed mayim achrayim. You said, bring me a kaisa, let's bench. But we don't call that a real hesach hadas because tonight is a seder. We follow the seder. And guess what? Part of the seder is that we have to eat the afikaimen. Okay. Ice cotton, and then we go weiter in the Shulchan Aruch. So that was the first case of the Mechaber over here in Sif Beis, when he says that you remembered to eat the afikaimen after you washed mayim achrayim, after you said havlanu navarech, but you haven't benched yet. Now let's go to the next case, third line in the Shulchan Aruch. How about v'imloi nizkar chaberach perkas hamazon? Let's say you didn't remember the afikaimen until after you benched. So now you finished Shulchan Aruch, you went and you benched. And then right after benching, one of the kids looks at you and says, Daddy, did we eat the afikaimen? Or one of the little ones says, hey, I still have the afikaimen. We didn't make a deal yet. And you realize you didn't eat the afikaimen, but you benched already. Okay, so now the Mechaber says, it depends. Im nizkar kaidem sheberach bayre priagafen. Let's say you remembered before you made the bayre priagafen on the third kais. So you benched, but remember, right after benching comes kais shlishi. So you benched, but you did not yet drink kais shlishi. So then the Mechaber says, yital yadav, you should wash, v'yavarei hamaitzi, and you should make a new hamaitzi, v'yaychal afikaimen, and you should eat the afikaimen, And says the Ramah, v'yachzar v'yavarech berkas hamazon, and then go bench again, v'yavarech b'ray priagafen, and make a b'ray priagafen, v'yishtah kais, and drink kai shlishi. So again, this scenario of the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah over here is, you finished Shulchan Aruch, you benched, and then you realized that you neglected to eat the afikomen, but you didn't yet drink kai shlishi. So all right, you have to wash again, because you're going to have to make a new amaitzi. You just benched. So you got to go wash again. You wash, you make a new amaitzi, you eat your afikomen, now you got to bench. So now go ahead and bench, and now after benching, you'll drink kai shlishi. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Ice Cotton Test. The Mechaber said, Yital Yadav, you have to wash again. Now, why do you have to wash again? Why do you wash? You wash because Stam Yodayim are Shniyos, your hands are Shniyos L'toma, and the Chachamim were masakin that before you eat a Suda, before you eat bread, you must wash your hands. But over here, you washed, you ate your Suda based on that washing, you benched, you haven't gotten up and left the table even. You just realized, hey, wait a second, I forgot to eat the afikomen. Why really do you have to wash again? Were you mesiach das from your original washing that now we should worry that yadayim askani, your hands are busy and maybe you touched something you shouldn't have touched and now you're required to wash? Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and test. Yes. The kevan sheberach berkas hamazayin, once you bench asach daite. That means that you were already mesiach das from your original washing. You're not watching your hands anymore. Because once you bench, you know your suit is over. So you're not watching your hands anymore. Vayin b'prima gadim shakasav, the Prima Gadim writes, to yito b'loi bracha, that you should actually wash, but you should not make a bracha netilas yadayim. Because the Prima Gadim is saying, what do you mean? You didn't even get up from the suda yet. And you were mesiach das on shmiras yadayim? When? When did you touch something? In the middle of benching? So he says you should wash, but without a bracha. Certainly, if you know that you weren't mesiach das from washing your hands, certainly you should wash without a bracha. Ice cotton yud, v'yavarech priagaf, bari priagafen. The Ramah said, so you finished benching, you washed, you made a new amaitzi, you ate the afikomen, then you benched, and then the Yavarech Bari Priagafen, and then you're going to you make the Bari Priagafen, you need to drink your Kai Shlishi. The Zeo Kai Shlishi. This is the third Kais. You didn't have to drink this Kais immediately after your first benching. Because the Chachamim were Misakin Kai Shlishi to be at the end of the meal. And you who forgot to eat the afikomen, that's called that you didn't finish your meal. Even though it's true that you benched already, right? You ate your meal, you forgot to eat the afikomen, and you benched. So certainly, to an extent, you finished your meal, you benched. No, since the Seder requires that you eat the afikomen, and you did not eat the afikomen, so in the context of the halachas of the Seder, your meal is not finished until after the afikomen. So you don't have to drink the kai shlishi before you wash again and eat the afikomen. No, wash again, eat the afikomen, bench, and then drink kai shlishi after the second bench. Ice cotton yud aleph, we didn't do yet. Okay, now by me it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines down in the Shulchan Aruch in the middle of the line. Now the Shulchan Aruch goes to another scenario. Let's say you don't remember that you neglected to eat the afikomen until after you drank the kai shlishi. Okay, now says the Shulchan Aruch, lo yochal afikomen. Now you're not going to be able to eat the afikomen. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut in your aleph. Lo yochal afikomen. Now you cannot eat the afikomen. Why not? What's the problem? Explains the Chavetz Chaim, because now if you're going to wash and eat another afikomen, yitzarech levarech berkas hamazayin, you're going to have to bench again. Berkas hamazayin tzarech kais. And over here we're going like the opinions that say that a kais by berkas hamazayin is a requirement. Now we know that we don't paskin that way, and the Mishnah Berurah is going to address that in a moment. But the Shulchan Aruch over here is going like the opinions who hold that every time you bench, you need a kais. So what are you going to do now? You went there, you finished Shulchan Aruch, you went there and you benched, you went there and you drank kais shlishi. Now you remember that you didn't eat the afikomen. What am I going to tell you to do? If you're going to wash and make hamaitzi and eat another afikomen and bench on that afikomen, you're going to need another kais. And that's a problem. Now, if you go ahead and you drink another kais, so what is that? That's the fourth kais? It's not the third kais because you already drank the third kais. So this is the fourth kais? Well, then what are you going to do after Hallel? That's going to be the fifth kais? So you have 5 kaisais? Can't have that. The Kasu Kama Achrayim, many Achrayim, right? The Kol Zehulani Paiskim Disfru Lula El Siman Kufpe Beis, Birkas Hamazin Tuna Kais. This only goes according to the Shitas that hold that benching must be accompanied by a kais. Amnam, however, Lefim min Hagenu, according to our minute, Kemanda Amar Birkas Hamazin Ba'alma Eina Tuna Kais, who holds that normally Birkas Hamazin is not required to be accompanied by a kais, then Gam Akshav Yochel Afikomen. So then this halacha wouldn't apply. Then now, even if you remembered that you missed the afikomen after you drank kais shlishi, no problem. Wash, make hamaitzi, eat another afikomen, bench, and move on. You don't have to drink a kais because you don't need to accompany the Birkas Hamazon, the second benching, with a kais. V'yavarch Birkas Hamazon b'li kais. Okay, now let's go back into the Shulchan Aruch. So the Shulchan Aruch said over here, in this last scenario, where you did not remember the afikomen until after you drank kais shlishi, so then the Shulchan Aruch said, you cannot eat the afikomen because I can't allow you to wash, make another amaitzi, and bench again because you're going to need another kais for the benching, for the second benching, and nira kamaisef ala kaises. So what do? You didn't eat an afikomen, so you're just not yotze the mitzvah of afikomen. Says the Shulchan Aruch, what should you do? The yismaich, you're going to rely al matzah she'achal b'soich ha'seuda. After you ate maitzi matzah, you went into Shulchan Aruch, you ate a meal. And probably during the meal, you ate matzah as part of the meal. We're going to say that the matzah that you ate during the meal, that was your afikomen. Shekulan shmura yisein mishas lisha. Because all of the matzah that you ate during the meal was at least shmura mishas lisha, and we could be yotze the mitzvah of afikomen with matzah that shmura l'shem lisha. However, the Shulchan Aruch gives a caveat to this. In places that have the minig like we do, that we use for the matzah of the mitzvah, we use matzah that's shimor mishas kitzira, right? It's protected from the time that it was harvested, earlier than the lisha, before the time of the kneading. So then, even if you did not remember the afikomen until after Hallel, you're going to have to wash again and make another amaitzi, and you're going to have to eat an afikomen. So what the Shulchan Aruch is saying over here, the only reason I'm telling you that if you remembered the afikomen after kais shlishi, you should not eat the afikomen, is because I'm doing a balancing act. I don't want you to wash again, eat another afikomen, and bench again, because if you're going to bench again, you have to accompany benching with a kais. And then I have the problem of nira kamaisef ala kaisos. You didn't eat the afikomen, so I'm going to tell you that you should rely on the matzah that you ate in the middle of Shulchan Aruch, even though certainly you had no das of afikomen when you ate that matzah. But we're going to rely on that matzah, and we're going to say that that matzah was your afikomen. Oh, but wait a second. What if the balancing act doesn't work? What if we cannot rely on the matzah that you ate during the Suda? Why? Because let's say our minig is that for matzah that you use to be yotze the mitzvah of maitzi matzah or afikomen, we require matzah that at shmira mishas kitzira. And for the regular matzah that you eat during the meal, we allow you to eat even matzah that at shmira mishas lisha. So then the matzah that you ate during the meal cannot have been for the afikomen, because it was only shmira mishas lisha. And for the afikomen, we need shmira mishas kitzira. So now the balancing act doesn't work. Now I don't have any matzah to tell you that you were yotze your chiyuv of afikomen with. It couldn't have been the matzah that you ate during the meal. It's not eligible. So how were you yotze afikomen? You weren't yotze afikomen. If you weren't Yaitz Afikaim, the Shulchan Aruch says, then I'm going to tell you that even forget if you remembered the Afikaim after you drank Kai Shlishi. Let's say you forgot the Afikaim until all the way at the end of the Seder. You remembered the Afikaim even after Hallel. There's no choice. You must wash again. You must make another Amaitzi. You must eat another Afikaim, and you must bench again. And according to the Shulchan Aruch, that benching is going to be accompanied by a kais. And you're going to drink another kais. You're going to have a fifth kais. And we're not going to worry about nira kamaisef ala kaisais because you have to eat the Afikaim. Let's see why this is. Well, let's finish the Ramah first. The Ramah says, Haga, v'yachzar v'yavarach ala kais, and your benching is going to be accompanied by a kais. And we're going to have to not concern ourselves with the problem of nira kamaisef ala kaisais. If the Afikaim got lost, a lot of times the kids play around and they steal the Afikaim, and then either it vanishes or it gets crumbled into a million pieces. You can eat another kazayas as long as you have more shmura matzah. You can eat a different kazayas from a different matzah. It doesn't specifically have to be the bigger piece of the yachas matzah that you put away for the Afikaim. So I hate to break it to the kids, but they steal the Afikaim and they start wheeling and dealing with you. You can always turn around and say, you know what? I don't need that piece. I can eat a different piece. Now let's jump into the Mishnah Berurah. So the Mishnah Berurah says a nice cut in Yud Beis. If you remembered the Afikaim after Kai Shlishi, then I don't want you to eat another Afikaim because I don't want you to bench again and have another kais and have the problem of nira kamaisef ala kaisais. The yismai chal matzah, and for your chiyuv of Afikaim, you'll rely on the matzah that you ate in the middle of Shulchan Aruch. Ritzayna loymar, Chavetz Chaim says, what the Shulchan Aruch wants to say over here is, shezeh yiyeh nechshav l'shem Afikaim. The matzah that you ate in the middle of your meal, that will be considered the matzah of the Afikaim. Afal pi sheloi kiven az l'shem zeh. Even though you certainly had no kavana when you ate matzah in the middle of the meal, that matzah should be Afikaim. V'afta kaimelon b'simin tafayin chesif aleph. Ta'achar Afikaim ein lechol shum davar. Now wait a second. So what are you telling me now? You're telling me that the matzah that I ate in the middle of Shulchan Aruch, that was my Afikaim? Well, in that case, I'm not allowed to eat anything after that. I don't understand. You're telling me now that the matzah that I was eating in the middle of Shulchan Aruch, that was my Afikaim. But how could it be the Afikaim? After I ate matzah in the middle of my meal, I ate a piece of brisket. And after I ate a piece of brisket, I ate a piece of potato kugel. And after I ate potato kugel, I ate kompot for dessert. So doesn't that show that the matzah that I ate in the middle of the meal is not eligible to be Afikaim? Says the Chavetz Chaim, yes, it's true that really you should not have eaten after that Afikaim, but b'di'evet, we're going to rely on that to be the Afikaim, and we rather do that than have you wash again, eat another Afikaim, bench again, have a kais, and be nira kamaisef ala kaises. Ice cut Yud Gimel b'saych hasuda. We're relying on the matzah that you ate in the middle of Shulchan Aruch. However, let's say you know that you didn't eat any matzah in the middle of Shulchan Aruch. You ate moitzi matzah, you had your matzah then you went into your meal, and you know that